Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Jay from Coding with Jaybird, where I upload weekly tutorials to help build your confidence in coding. Today we're going to have a look at sorting arrays in JavaScript. Let's start coding, shall we? Here I have a sorting arrays folder that I've opened in my Visual Studio Code. It's a pretty simple standard HTML file, and I've linked to the main.js at the bottom of it, and you can see that here in my JS folder, and I have some simple styling in my styles.css file. Alright, so let's start coding in our main.js. So today I want to talk about sorting arrays. Now when we have an array of strings, the sort method is fantastic for that. So let's demonstrate that. So the sort method sorts an array alphabetically. So if I were to create some array called, let's say, luxury cars, and I'll set this to an array of strings. So let's start with Lexus. We'll say Mercedes, BMW, and lastly, let's say Audi. And let's do a console.log of this luxury cars dot sort method. So we're applying the sort method onto this luxury cars variable. And when I save this, you can see on the right hand side that it has in fact organized the array really nicely. And it's taken Audi and put it in the very first spot. So it's in the 0 index as opposed to the last one here. And then we have BMW, Lexus, and Mercedes. So that's great. If I want to sort an array in descending order, meaning not from A to Z as in the sort method, but from Z to A, I have to use a different method called the reverse method. Now this reverse method works a little differently. So let's start by creating some constant called cars. And here I'll have Toyota and Honda, Ford, and lastly Kia. If I were to apply the cars.reverse method, let's see what we get. So I'm just going to output this to the console. Cars.reverse method applied to it. And when I have a look at this in the console, I see Kia, Ford, Honda, Toyota. Now that doesn't make sense. If I want it in reverse order, this T for Toyota should be the first one. So what's actually happening is this reverse method is simply taking the original array and just putting it in reverse order. So we're seeing our last item as our first item, our second last item as our second item, and so on. So what I want to do is I want to sort the array first and then reverse the sorting. So here I'm just going to create an extra line above this console.log. And what I'm going to do is take cars and apply the sort method onto it first. So first I'm sorting the cars, A to Z or A to Z, and then I'm going to reverse that order so that I get from Z to A. And now you can see after saving, everything looks as expected. We get Toyota at the end, and then we get Kia, and then Honda, and lastly Ford, because F is closer to A. All right, that looks great. Now I've just shown you two examples where we're sorting arrays with strings inside of them. Now what if I wanted to sort arrays with numbers within them? So this is a little bit different. So sorting number arrays works a little differently. In order to sort the numbers accurately, we need to use something called a compare function. So let's say I have some const called mileage, and it's just going to have some mileage of different cars, let's say. So I'll say 320, 500, 440, 360, and let's say 410. Okay, so I have some mileage of some 5 vehicles, let's say, and I want to sort them from smallest to largest. So numeric sorting requires something called a compare function. Now this compare function looks like this. It's simply a function that takes in 2 arguments, and what it does is it returns the first argument minus the second argument. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to pass this compare function inside our sort function. So we want to do something like this. We want to take mileage dot sort, and we want to pass this entire compare function like so in here. Okay, so let's practice doing that. So what I'll say is let my answer 1 equal mileage dot sort. So I'm applying the sort method onto the mileage. And in here, I want to pass in this function a comma b, so it accepts 2 arguments, and it returns the answer of a minus b. Okay, so let's see what we get. And then we can output this to the console. All right, so before I save this, let's see what's actually happening in the background. If I'm comparing, let's say 320 to 500, so 320 is going to be in place of this variable a, and 500 will be in place of the variable b. A minus b is 320 minus 500, which is going to give us minus 180. So because we get a minus value, we know that the sort function is going to sort 320 lower than 500. So when I save this, we can see it has in fact worked very well. We have our lowest number in the first position, which is 320, then 360, all the way up to our largest number, which is 500 in the last position. That's great. So the sort method and the compare function combined are great for sorting through number arrays. Our sort and reverse alone are great for sorting through string arrays. Now, something to note is that this technique is also great for sorting through an array of objects. All right, well, this concludes this video lesson on sorting arrays. And this also concludes my 32-part video series, JavaScript tutorial for beginners. I hope you've taken the time to go through all the videos and learn the basics of JavaScript programming. I've had a great time making this series for you and hope you've enjoyed learning new concepts each week. I'm working on a new video series and I'm hoping to release it next week. Stay tuned for more coding tutorials. If you're enjoying my videos, please like and subscribe to my channel for regular updates. Until next week, keep on coding!